recording. I make the recording, because it was a district decision.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order.
Yeah.
First item on our agenda are the approval of minutes. I'll accept a motion to approve the February 14th school board minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Matt.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Aaron. Any comments or corrections? All in favor, aye? Oppose? Abstentions? I'll accept a motion to approve the non-public minutes from February 14th.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Matt. Need a second?
Second.
Thanks, Tony. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstentions? Accept a motion to approve the return to public minutes from February 14th.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Matt.
Second.
Thanks, Tony. All in favor, aye? Oppose? Abstentions?
Oh, you know what? I was not the last one. Was it the last 2 years we had them?
Okay. Aaron's going to abstain from
I'm abstaining.
all of the
Yeah, that's
February
right.
14s. Yep. Accept a motion to approve the regular minutes from the February 19th meeting.
I have a question on that.
Yep.
Did we have a meeting that night? A regular meeting?
Yeah, it was,
We had that, we have to have a meeting to go into non-public.
Oh, okay.
so there was no,
It was like
Gotcha.
8 seconds long.
All right. Well, I will make that motion.
thanks, Matt. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Tony. All in favor, aye? Aye. Oppose? Abstentions? Motion to approve non-public minutes from February 19th.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks, Tony. Second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Matt. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstentions? Accept a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from February 27th.
Make a motion.
Thanks, Matt. Second?
Second.
Thanks, Tony. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstentions?
I abstained. And I think there's a mark on.
Go ahead. So, go ahead, Brent.
I don't think I was there.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, but that just has to be changed.
Okay. That was the second one. We did the week later. It was 5 p.m.
Oh, okay. What was the most recent one? Oh, that was
That was
Monday.
that one. So Brian's abstaining from Feb 27th. Yeah. And finally, accept a motion to approve non-public minutes from February 27th.
I'll make a motion.
Thanks, Matt. Second.
Second.
Thanks, Tony. All in favor, aye? Aye. Oppose? Abstentions? Judy, correspondence?
I know.
Okay. I do have one that we will do in non-public tonight.
Well, I do with that one
That's it.
I just want to pass out something on the public schools infrastructure grant that we got, just
Yep.
because we got the official approval from the governor the other day, and we're just laying out the projects. So I think you saw the initial sheet of this back in October or November when we were applying for the, probably November, we were applying for the grant. So I just added some columns. So the state is funding 80%, so the school district picks up the 20%. So we got approval on all these projects. The money has to be spent or encumbered by next June 30th, 2019. So most of the projects, as you can see, we're planning to do this summer. The 2 vestibule projects are going to take a little bit longer, and it's more construction-like, so those will go into next year, 2019. So anyway, we just wanted to pass this out because at some point, hopefully in the spring, we'll need to have a public hearing to approve the district's 20% spending from the trust funds of these monies. So that's at the bottom, the $56,000 at the bottom that we'll eventually have to use district funds for.
Okay.
Does the public have access to this at this point?
I couldn't hear you.
Can the public see this? Like they can come and see it, or can we just read off this? I think so that they know what the items
Yeah,
are.
Judy was going to go through it next week. There's a,
Oh,
going to get into that, the public forum.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, just because it's a lot of cool stuff.
Oh,
I just thought-
definitely. I mean, if you want to read it off now, you can go through that.
And just for the few people that are here, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
I won't read the numbers, but essentially the grant's going to cover us getting in the elementary school cameras, classroom phones, the paging systems, rework the vestibule, middle school intercom systems, pagers, vestibule cameras, and then campus-wide is radio system, key card entry systems. So a lot of good security stuff. You know, for $56,000 instead of $285,000. So it's cool.
State's paying 80% of it.
Awesome. And when you get into your report tonight, you're going to talk about the form and, okay. All right, thanks, Deb. Judy.
Okay, so we did get a report from Wayne Fillion, who did from the biomass, based upon what the biomass committee had recommended. So Wayne Fillion completed his report, and we're going to be reviewing that report with the biomass committee. We just got the report, so we're going to be setting up a meeting with the biomass committee and reviewing it with them, and then coming out with a recommendation for the board as well. There will be a public forum. It is scheduled for, it refers to, it involves school safety. It is for March 13th at 5 o'clock in this room, elementary multipurpose room. It will include the police from both communities, as well as some public health experts, as well as hopefully the guidance counselors from the school will be able to go. And in the school.
You say
school
public health experts.
Yes, some mental health, mental health experts will be there as well. And it will be, just a group of people together, and we'll go over the projects that are going to be done to reassure the community that there are plans are in effect. Not necessarily review the emergency plan, but assure them that we do have a plan.
Which is a hot button issue everywhere right now.
Right, it is a very hot button. And then and that the emergency plan, it's not just controlled by local.
Mm-hmm.
That is good. Although we do have meetings annually with that plan, and we revise it every year with the fire, police, and ambulance committee as well in both communities. It also has to go to the state and get reviewed by the state. We do get the plan assessed. The state comes in, Homeland Security has come in and assessed the building. We had it completed in 2014, and we had to have an assessment completed in order to get that grant money. And so we did. Now it's up to be reassessed again, so they'll come in and look at it again. Right now they're downloaded with a lot of communities they're working with, but they will be coming in and reassessing the buildings again.
Okay. You said both communities, police department are coming?
Yes.
Should we invite fire and ambulance? I don't know what type of questions.
Okay, that's the town meeting day, so I'm not sure how many are going to be able to come.
Most
Okay.
people
But-
don't know.
Yeah, but we do have an emergency plan meeting on Monday, the 12th, at 9 o'clock during the day, and we will be reviewing what's going to. Those people will be at that meeting, so if they
What
can
time is
come
town
to
meeting?
Right, the ones that come, the ones on the.
6:30.
Oh, okay.
The ones
That's
on
on
the, right, the ones on the 12th will be told, all the emergency personnel are on, at that meeting on the 12th during the day. They will be, the whole forum will be explained to them, and then on the 13th, if they can come, they will be able to come, but representatives will be there.
Okay, they will be.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
so we should be all set.
Okay. So that'll be open to, I mean, I know, depending on the question, you can't answer it, but will there be a Q&A session for community?
Yeah, first
Okay.
we'll go through all the information that we have.
Yep.
What types of trainings are coming. The police will be able to go through their trainings that they're going to be offering the school district, and what types of trainings that the school district will have, the new equipment, how that will be presented and whatnot. And then And then will be plenty of time for question and answer. We're figuring about, the chief was thinking it would be about an hour,
Okay.
a half-hour presentations and a half-hour questions.
Okay.
Matt,
I have a question, Vince. Well, firstly, if we're having a hard, I don't know if John's having a hard time, but the fan's blowing over here, so I can't hear anything that you guys are saying.
I'm sorry.
But well, I can hear you because you're facing this way,
Oh, okay.
but I couldn't hear a lot of what you said.
Is there a way to turn the fan off?
I don't know how to do it.
I was only talking about you. I didn't want you to hear that.
But my question is, I'm really excited that we're doing this. I think it's great that we're taking initiative to have this type of Q&A.
You can hear that.
Yeah.
Definitely hear that. I hear it every meeting. Every meeting. Can you hear me? No.
I can hear you now.
Okay. I forget where I was. But anyway, I think it's great that we're doing this. I think it's important for the community to have an opportunity to ask questions. I know there's probably a lot of questions that cannot be answered because of safe, you can't compromise certain situations. I am concerned with the timing of the event.
I am.
There's a lot of people that work and then they rush to vote and then they rush to get to town meeting. So I would ask that we have a second day
Yeah,
set up to
we're
do
planning
this. Okay. I mean, I think it's going to be, it'll work for some and maybe it'll
I
split
know.
the group, which will be great, but there's a
Right.
lot of families and there's a lot of people that have responsibilities in town as
Yeah.
roles and rushing around in and out of town and
I
stuff.
know, we were trying to do it, trying to plan it so that everyone could come, but then a lot of people would think, we had originally thought maybe April, because then you don't have to worry about weather, you don't have to worry about anything, and you could have it in April and everyone could come, but then again, it's a now thing.
Yeah, it's a
for
timeliness
some
issue,
people.
sure.
So we're having it now, and then we'll have another one,
Yeah.
and when it's, in April, probably closer to the end of April.
Okay.
And just plan it, and then we'll, based on actually what we get for a response for that one.
Yeah.
We could probably,
My concern would be that the response, that there may not be a lot of people there, is my
Yeah,
concern.
I know.
Because there's a lot of families that go into the town voting and that sort of stuff.
How
as well.
heavily has it been advertised at this point?
we just put it in the police have it in their website. We're going to be putting it in the website tomorrow. We're just getting confirmation as of today. So it was rushed, it was kind of quick.
Yeah, my suggestion isn't to cancel it and not do it. I
Right.
think it doesn't take long for everybody in this town to know a little bit of something about
Right.
something going on.
Right.
So, but, because it's such a timely issue,
Yeah.
maybe the second meeting could be closer to, the beginning of April.
Oh,
So
okay.
that for those that can't attend, have an
Yeah.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Instead of stringing it out. Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we're going to get some feedback that's going to say, hey,
Right.
great idea,
Right. Bad timing.
bad timing. A lot of us can't be there, but then we could say, well, 2 weeks later, we're going to have another meeting for those that can't make it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
As far as the advertising piece, the police department is actively advertising on social media. I've seen it there a number of times in the last couple of days, and different people are sharing it. So it's definitely getting out there in that avenue, which tends to be the best avenue, as we all know.
Anything else, Judy?
Let's see, the emergency management plan, I just talked about the biomass report. Just wanted to go over the next board meeting, besides your school district meeting, will be April 4th. It typically would be April 11th, but April 4th and instead of April 11th. So it'll be April 4th and April 18th, so we can fit in 2 board meetings in April as well. Let's see. I think that's it.
I have a question. It's part of the handouts, the Drummond. Is this something that we talk about in public, or?
Yes, he's going to talk about
Oh,
it.
you are? I can talk. Oh, wait.
I had it on my list, but he said he'd talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, that was it.
Okay, thanks, Judy. Scott?
So you received a handout from Drummond and Woodson regarding the March 14th. There is there's a national walkout for students. It's supposed to be on the 14th at 10 a.m. What we received, there's a couple things that kind of we're looking at over the course of over the vacation break, which is one, receiving that information from Governor Woods as far as like what schools can do, kind of what their different positions are. There's really kind of 3 different, but one is that you can be, as a school, you can be very like, nope, we just kind of follow what our school policies are. There's also kind of section where you're just kind of guiding, not really, you're not saying, you're not promoting, but you're not denying either. And then there's the one where you can be promoting. I've been kind of talking with our student body. We've had some conversation with a group of students already who are interested in kind of they want to participate and put something together. And we've talked a lot with them and some of their teachers regarding how to do that, but also we've been shared with them some of the information that we've received as a school, like what the role of school could be, and talking about how it needs to be more student-led. That it's kind of puts the school in a kind of a spot. And I think in talking with teachers, we really think that it's a good opportunity for a teachable moment. That unfortunately, I think there's going to be times where our students are going to see things as they grow older over the course of their lifetime, and if we can have an opportunity to kind of teach and guide as far as how you can handle that in a positive way, we want to be doing that. So we do have a group of students that are putting something together in which it would be what they're going to be doing during that, because it's supposed to be, the walkout is supposed to begin at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's supposed to be for 17 minutes for honoring the 17 victims who were obviously killed in Parkland. So they're going to be able to kind of put together what that 17 minutes looks like, but they're also putting together the kind of before and after pieces. So if kids want to be talking with advisors, beforehand to kind of prep and see what it's going to look like, but also the after piece as well, to kind of debrief and have some larger conversations. I will tell you that it's interesting in meeting with those students even today, that if you were, they're very articulate and very clear that it's not a political piece that they're looking at, but more of they want to take and make a statement about really being against gun violence, but not. And it's interesting because the students who were involved, if you gauge them politically, are very different spots. If you looked at gun control, but they're like, that's not what we're talking about. It's about gun violence and ending that piece. So I think that I've asked them to put something together. They have a couple teachers who are helping them and kind of guiding them, because I want to put them together so as we get to Friday, Monday, I want to have something for staff. I was able to meet with some of our staff, both as the faculty meeting as well as with our middle school teachers, kind of ask their questions. I was able to share that back with our students to kind of give them, it's kind of opening their eyes a little bit too, to kind of say, you're not just talking about your classmates, you're also looking at the adults, and there's going to be a range of needs there as well. It's a big topic. So just kind of want to let folks know, I know that's in there. I think that's kind of where we're heading with that.
Can you, well, first I just want to express that I appreciate your thoughtful approach to this. I think having this, empowering the kids to take the lead on this I think is a big step. Unfortunately, this is something that their generation is going to have to deal with more and more in the generations that follow. I would ask that if, whenever you put it together, if you could just notify us and let us know the start and the time, whatever the program's going to be, in case any school board members want to be there as well.
Absolutely.
And show support for the kids or that.
And we've talked about, and I think with the students being interesting, like, and some of the things that they were bringing up is, and I've touched base with the police department as far as like having a presence that day during that time. We had a conversation about like what, where there'd be like, as far as like, staying on school grounds, because we still want them to be safe, and we're that, there's still going to be an adult presence, but not as a participatory kind of way necessarily, but as a supervisor to make sure and these are also things that the students were also asking for. Like they're being very mature about the process, which I think is good. But I do agree with you, Matt, like being able to put that out there so people can be aware.
Yeah, I mean, if I have the opportunity to be here and hear what the kids have to say, I'd like that opportunity. So.
Yeah. So that's that piece.
I just had a comment.
Sure.
And, you kind of answered the question I was going to ask as far as communicating with the police force, to have a presence that day, because everything is centered around safety.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously that's going to be a topic that's coming down the line with, district meeting as far as the SRO position. And I think, it gives us an opportunity to maybe look into different avenues of having that police component, maybe on our premises that's not so necessarily an SRO, but just have them pop in to the, on property throughout the day, throughout the week. We know, they're out on patrol and they have down times where if they want to sit in our parking lot or sit in front of our school during times of day, it gives you that safe feeling. And I think, if this is, you're anticipating an actual physical walkout, like the kids will leave the building. I think it says a lot if we have that presence here, whether it's Lincoln BT or Woodstock PD or both of them, just to know that they're walking out into a safe environment too,
Right.
Because some people might view it as a controversial statement that they're making. So I think it's great that we're opening that avenue up, and hopefully they'll, facilitate that with us.
And we've had the kind of conversations that, I really feel that needs to be student driven.
Yeah.
I think that once, I use myself as an example, I said once you put like my name to say like the principal said that you have to do X, Y, or Z, I think it really changes the dynamic. So I really feel that that's where it needs to come from. And they were very understanding and again, very mature about that process. It's interesting you bring up the police piece. I did have an opportunity to talk with the captain yesterday actually, and we had a conversation regarding how they can basically have that more of a presence. And we had a good conversation where they want to start over the course of next week and kind of moving forward, where as part of their patrol that is something that they do. And we had a conversation, like I said to the captains, like even if your stay is 3 minutes, the time it takes you to walk from the front door through the building and out, is that's how quick, how long it will take for all you need is one set of eyeballs to see you, and that goes to the school very quickly. That the police were here, and I said, the other thing I would recommend, within that conversation is that I've gotten personally a lot of bang for my buck in the sense of standing out in front of the building in the morning, or just saying hi and doing that on both ends at the end of the day as well. I said it'd be great to have if there's one day a week, whatever, if there's an officer there as well. Then there's a visual that the community can see, that there's a visual collaboration, not just I tell you what there is. It's one thing if I tell you, it's something if you see it yourself. And so that's something that they're looking to kind of move and change moving forward, and kind of working schedules as part of their route.
I think that's great, because I think one of the goals of having the SRO from their standpoint too was to establish that positive relationship between students and police, especially for kids that are teenagers or preteens, that they have this image of police, and to kind of have that friendly atmosphere. If we don't have an SRO here, but like you said, just being here, meet and greet times a day.
The captain talked about how one of their goals is that for adults and students alike to be like there's a person in that uniform. It's not just a uniform, that there's a person there as well. So there's definitely some goals there that they want as well.
I think the chief is going to be explaining the type of program that he's looking at as well, when he realized that the school district was leaning towards a social worker. They are planning on trying to set up a liaison person.
Yes.
To extend what Scott was saying and so that every week, they meet with the social worker and or, a committee, whatever school group has to be met with, and they'd be part of that conversation and communication, so they would still be in the loop and be aware of what's going on both at the school and in the community. So that'll help. It seems like that was a really good idea.
So 3 more quick things. One is right before February break, we had our annual Winter Carnival. That went very well, both at the Kank and here for events on Friday. It was the sportsmanship and that was shown by all the classes was very commendable. I thought the kids did a great job. Lauren Peck is moving on for Poetry Out Loud. She has not only won the school competition a couple weeks ago, it was reported out, she won regionals and she's going on to states. So that was over the course of this past week.
Was there one this morning as well?
That was for Rotary Speeches.
Okay.
So she was competing in that as well. I didn't get how she did.
Okay.
So she's going for a dynamic double there, I think. And as amazing it is that even though it's snowing outside today, on March 19th, high school baseball and softball has opening day for high schools across New Hampshire. That's all I got.
Okay. Any questions for Scott?
Just on that the lawyer stuff. So is that, are we in kind of like you're leaning towards the whole allowing the 10 a.m. playing off of that
Yes.
particular recommendation?
Yes, it does happen to with that, and I know they talk about it as having a recess time.
Yeah, I understand.
The way that actually kind of conveniently, not, obviously they didn't bring us into consideration to put it together, but conveniently, that's during our advisory.
During advisory, yeah.
So it kind of conveniently works out that, you know, you're not really impacting a whole lot of instructional time, and when they return in after those 17 minutes, you have a time already set aside that can be and has been used for those conversations.
Cool. All right. Good.
Thanks, Scott. Judy, do you have nominations? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. Committee reports. Do we have any news from facilities?
No, but did you have any follow-up on bus stuff?
Yeah, I have some information for Deb. I've got some prices together. Some estimates, there you go. Pretty much through Chevrolet, you get a $7,000 rebate because you're a municipality or a school. There's also another rebate, and I haven't discussed it with Deb. If we're leasing anything but, you know, say we want to buy a Ford, if we're leasing a Dodge or a Chevy, they'll give us money back too. Or if we're leasing, you know, the opposite. It seems to be money if you're changing brands. But I'll have some information for Deb. I have it at home on emails. I should have brought it, but.
Okay.
But anyway, there is rebates to municipalities. The Chevy was about $7,000. So it, you know, took it from like 36,000 down to 20 something.
Right.
But
Okay.
I'm working on it. I'll have tomorrow. I'll try to get it all together.
Okay, great. Thanks, John.
Yep. I can.
Policy, we met today. Tony, you wanna?
Yeah, so we went through, 7 or 8 policies that needed updating, as many of them do. A lot of them that were kind of relevant as far as pupil safety, students' rights and such. So we made some changes there that we will be bringing, I guess, the first reading next meeting?
Yep.
April 4th. Wait, or March?
Will-
No,
will
we've
we-
got another meeting before then, right? March? No, we
No,
don't.
we don't.
Okay, because of district meeting.
April 4th,
So it'll be April 4th. Wow.
So this is the first time in a while we don't have anything on policy for first or second.
All right.
Any,
Yeah, professional development also met. And
Okay.
what I'll do is I'll forward everybody via email the notes. I just received the notes yesterday.
Okay.
But just a couple things to touch on. Most of the conversation centered around the margin service, which is going to be focused on social and emotional learning. I think it's going to be a combination of all 3 schools in the morning, and then, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the afternoon, maybe just the elementary school and the older schools and classrooms will be focusing on something different. There was also discussion about creating listservs for podcasts or other avenues for people to gain information and sharing information, and the Web to School program they have, and some of the depths we have with that, and curriculum sharing, that sort of stuff. So
okay,
it's a very, very surface review of our meeting, but
great. Well, thank you.
the notes are deeper.
You said you're gonna reach out to biomass committee members and set up a.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
We'll schedule that. Well, I'll call everyone tomorrow. I'll
Okay.
have the office call everybody tomorrow.
Great, okay. And then I would also just suggest, board members want to look through that report from Yett Associates and then ask any questions. Well, that'll be a new board year, but ask it next meeting, yeah. Any other committees? All right, sorry, Judy, now nominations, resignations.
Okay. I don't have any nominations, recommendations, nominations or resignations. I do have recommendations. Just to let the board know that boys varsity baseball, the assistant coach is Kevin O'Brien, Dave Bowden, and John Perry. Your middle school baseball assistant coach, Matt Manning. Your girls varsity softball head coach is Andy Kilmer, and assistant coach is Butch Chase. And middle school softball is Diana McGrath, and assisted by Brianna McGrath.
Okay. Great. April board meeting, you wanted to switch
The April board meeting is the 4th and the 18th. I said that in the memo.
no, I'm sorry.
The
Oh,
school
yep.
calendar is the next one?
That's right, that school calendar. yeah.
Okay.
We already touched on April, yeah.
Yeah, that one was, and
Want to switch a workshop?
Yeah, we had it scheduled for January. There was a a half-day. It was based on what the association had recommended or had requested, and they needed a PD day, a professional development day. So we gave a half a day in January, and we had originally scheduled it at the end of the marking term, which we thought was January 18th. And when we counted out all the days after, it's actually January 25th. So we had changed the 18th, January 2019, to the 25th of January 2019.
So the one we approved last time was the 18th.
Correct,
And you just want to switch it to the 25th.
correct.
And that's the only change?
That's the only change.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to amend the Linwood Public School 2018-2019 calendar to reflect the change. That's a half-day?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Half-day from January 18th, 2019 to January 25th, 2019.
Thanks, Matt. Can we get a second?
I'll second that.
Thanks, Tony. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstentions? New business.
Do we need to vote on scheduling those April meetings, or we just, or not?
No, we don't have to
Okay,
vote.
okay.
Judy?
Okay, the next one is new business, and that is the
Excuse me.
the program that I had spoke of before, going in, and I just have some information on
Sure,
that.
yeah.
So I can pass out to everyone. Yes, mine is single. It's across this. Okay, so the NECC stands for the New England Center for Children. And Kelly Maskett put this together just to give the board an idea of mindset. And the focus is being on all students. And all students means, you know, any student that's special ed, homeless, foster care, ESOL, 504, and special ed students. She just went through and reviewed what special education and IDEA meant, and the inclusive model that we are required to follow, the multi-tiered system of support, which would be your tier 1, 2, and 3. Where it says this is nothing new. What she did was put in some of the jargon that is used and is overlapping in different scenarios. So, for example, RTI, PBIS, responsive classroom, zones of regulation, which is part of the social emotional thinking, and the SIT teams, which is a student intervention team, and your child study teams. Those are activities and/or strategies.
Did you guys show us this beginning of the school year
Yes,
PowerPoint? Okay.
yeah, you'll see that some of this stuff is already noted. And one of the pages where it says, wow, we do all this and still need more, you see yes, then you go on to the next page, and that gives you your data, a lot of your data. She just took it from 2015 to 2018. It was quite interesting. Your population, current enrollment, actually goes down, but yet your special ed...
Services and stuff, yep.
Right. The special ed students even somewhat stays the same, but your intensity of the needs of the students is what's increasing. And you can see that through the increase in your paraprofessionals. And she did highlight that. This same document is the one that, as noted at the bottom of that chart, is the one that was presented to Vance. It had been
Right.
presented a few times to the board. Some of you may not, I mean, maybe your first time seeing it. But the one thing she did highlight in the 2018 was the fact that the increase in intensity of the needs So even if you would have the same number of students, or about the same number of special ed students and/or 504 students who also need accommodations, the intensity has differed tremendously. So since the students are changing, the district has to look at different types of programs that are out there, that could be out there, or need to be. And she also mentioned how there, in some cases, students' needs can be met internally, and in some cases, they have to be, students' services have to be contracted out of the district as well. And those determinations are made through the IEP process. So that the hiring of, in recruiting of highly skilled, specifically trained personnel is what we're running into right now. Not just, no, it's not just this district. It's across the state as well as across the country. If you look at the next one where it says cost analysis, that's what we're running. All the districts are running into. You take students and if you have to place them out of district, just a day program runs between $50,000 and $85,000. That's just the tuition alone. That does not include any of your related services. It doesn't include speech. It doesn't include OT. It doesn't include counseling. It doesn't include any of that. So you're running over $100,000 for a day program, approximately $120,000 to $150,000. And then put your transportation costs on top of that. Since it's a day program, you have to transport them back and forth to your home district. Your residential program is running from $189,000 to $210,000 for one child. So this is the information that I was trying to give ahead of time, so that when you look at the last section of the packet, it goes into the New England Center for Children, and how you could either have service providers come into the building and they would provide a specific program. Sometimes we have, we do that. In this district, we do it with our related service because we don't necessarily need full-time personnel for your related service. So for your OT and your speech and language, you don't need full-time. So we contract to have part-time people come in because those contracted services go to other school districts on the other days. So they're maybe in this district for 2 days, but they're contracted through North Country as a full-timer, and they hit all the other schools as well. That's one of the options. If you need full-time, then obviously you'll have a full-time person come in. The other option is, right now we are doing that, however, we have these positions posted and we're not getting any responses to the positions. So the other option would be to either send the kids out and spend thousands of dollars, or hundreds of thousands of dollars, or have a program, a whole entire program, come in to the building, take a place in your building, and provide all the services that are needed for the child or children. In this case, they're talking, they can provide services up to 6 students with their set of experts coming into the building, as long as the district provides them with space. And that would include staff training, that includes family support, that includes family training, that includes them going to the home and working with the family as well as working with the staff, and clinical supervision, on-site supervisors. It gives you the whole list of all the different services that it provides. And then it goes through the mission and the vision is to try to get them eventually, obviously, for the students to be working within their own typical community. And also just the very outlined briefing. So, and we can talk about this, again later, but I
Sure.
just wanted to give you an overview of what that particular program looks like. Other districts within the service, it's also called the partnership program. This one is because you're in partnership with the school district. So, and if the board is interested, representatives from this program could come to the board. They would be willing to come and speak to the board on April 18th, which is your April meeting, your second April meeting. So the board can decide on how they want to move forward with that. And that was the new business.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions for Judy?
Not now.
Yeah, I know.
It's a lot.
I know.
Yeah, no. Continuing business, we need to do assignments, board member assignments for school district meeting. So I don't have the actual warrant article.
Jasmine's not here, she can have all the
What?
Jasmine's not here, we'll just give them all to her.
Yeah,
That's usually what we do.
That's right.
I know that.
That's right. Not really.
So just looking at them, the only ones I think we really need assignments for are 6, 7, 8.
And 6, usually the budget committee will go up first.
Yeah, that means the budget committee is gonna,
Typically they'll talk, but
they're gonna do the bulk of it. I mean, I guess we can have someone, my assumption is if the community has questions, it's gonna be directed to budget committee. I think it's important to have someone for Article 6 if we disagreed with their budget, but we didn't. So I can speak.
Who was
on-
the rep?
Aaron was.
I was.
Do you want to speak on behalf of the board?
I don't see that there's
I don't
probably
think
gonna be a need to.
I don't think
but
so
just
either.
in case.
2%.
Okay.
I mean, I can, it doesn't matter. I can speak on behalf of the board and just tell them why we agree. Because if there are questions, they will go towards the committee, not us. But we didn't differ from anything that group came up with.
And even if the budget committee says, ask someone to explain something further, then,
Sure.
you know, someone would be able to do it on the board.
Okay.
so
All right, I can do that, yeah. Article 7 is, Article 7 and 8 are both facility projects. 7 is kind of part 2, also new roofing project. I don't know, Brian, if you wanted to speak on behalf of that, or someone else from facilities.
We'll write something up there.
I just wanted the whole report.
Right.
My concern with that one is because I'm not on that committee, like many of us aren't, I don't know all the,
Which one's the
I
roofing?
mean, I'll
Yeah.
speak to the best of my knowledge on it, based on the reports. I'll just they'll get me the full reports.
right.
So,
We'll just get the facts together so that you have.
Yep. Okay. So Brian can do
yeah, give
7.
me the history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
gonna come up.
chronology.
And then 8 is flooring. I don't know if someone feels passionate about speaking on flooring.
I can take flooring if you want.
Okay.
Right, you want flooring, Brian?
Well, that was like the easy one. That's just
I'm not touching the roof.
flip a coin. We can see who wins. I think
Josh
the flooring
doesn't take
ones-
roof
The
if you-
reason for the flooring money, as far as I'm concerned, is because we had already put a date on it, and that it's supposed to be money taken out every year
Right.
over a period of time to finish the project.
Right.
And we're on,
Is this year 4 or 5 of
Well,
flooring?
we had a gap though, right? It was a 10-year project, but we took a year off.
We didn't take a year off.
We
We
just
just
slowed
slowed
We
it
had
down.
several,
We minimized what we were gonna do.
Right.
I think
Done
the
4 years.
original estimate
10
was,
years, 100 grand.
was roughly $1 million.
Yeah, it's
And
$1
so the
million.
first year, we did like 107 or something, but then a couple
Then we had a
years, we
big
did
heavy year
50.
where we had
Jim
more
Floor
than-
slowed it down the next year. right?
This is.
So, I mean, there's
We just
no,
finished our 4th year.
we just finished 4, so this would be the 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't,
It's just
we-
continuing the 10.
It doesn't have to be done in 10, but theoretically,
Right, yeah, that's fine.
Just
if it's
the
done
idea.
in 10, then that's an extra year. You don't have to worry about restarting a flooring project down the road. Okay, so John, you'll do floors?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I just want to say, Brian's like, the roof is the hard one, but, we're nominating Brian to talk about that. Any questions that come up, the whole school board can
Oh, no, I
chime in. Like,
Right.
if we've got some more knowledge in one area than you do, or recollection than you don't, we won't leave you there hanging by your nose. is what I'm saying.
Well, the
I mean, and a
other,
lot of the questions I think that might come up are precede me.
Right.
Well, it doesn't
There
even,
was issues I discovered since I've been on that are issues that were bypassed preceding me.
Right.
And
Matt, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna, I mean, our role isn't to be a roofing expert.
Right.
You know, I mean, we gather information and make decisions
Yep.
that we feel are in the best interest of the community, and we present them, and they, you know, they decide, so.
And then Articles 9 through 13, I mean, no one's ever questioned.
I'll take all those, Vance.
Okay, great. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Really, all the information's in the annual report anyway. So, Matt, you got it.
Matt, do you want 14 also?
What's that? Is that to adjourn?
To adjourn.
Give that to Tony.
All right, so I think we're good there. Anything else for continuing? I think we didn't talk about anything else, did we?
No.
Okay, great. Mrs. Smith, welcome.
Good to see
How are you?
I am well. I just have one item.
Oh, great.
Isn't that good news? It's from Jen Witcher and the Student Council. She just wanted to give a few more details to add on what Scott said. She said the high school student council coordinated a great winter carnival before vacation. Our theme was movie franchises, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, and Marvel. Students showed great teamwork and school spirit, healthy competition, and positive energy. She would like to thank advisors, parents, teachers, and administration for all their support during the week to make it fun for students. Also, thank you to the Kank, Tara Tower, and her crew for allowing us to use the facility, Chief Moorhead for another delicious barbecue, Andy Nichol for making giant snow piles, and the Linwood High School for just being awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Great. There's a lot of chatter this year about how awesome the sculptures looked from the road.
Oh, good.
They were
Yeah.
They
were
really cool.
They were really
My daughter was
cool.
convinced that there was a car buried under the one that was.
Like there's a real car
We
there.
talked about it every time we drove by, that someone needs to get rid of it, and then when they got flattened, she was like devastated. Because it was just like chunks.
John would have bid on it.
Tone it away.
I'll tell you what happened last week.
Community, welcome. Any comments or questions? Pat?
We finished the intercom project, correct?
I'm sorry?
The intercom project, that's been done?
Yeah. Is it 100% done? Yeah, it is.
Who was the clerk of the works for that? Do we have a clerk of the works?
Who was it?
Trey.
Trey Aldridge.
Trey Aldridge.
I had an in-house person to be the clerk of the works. Thought we were gonna hire an outside person, that's what you told me beforehand.
I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have the answer to that.
All right. I understand there was a facilities committee meeting on the 15th, the day after the budget meeting and your board meeting last month? The budget hearing? Did you guys have a facilities meeting?
No.
At the SAU?
If we did, I wasn't there. I
Okay.
don't think we had one.
There's no,
I'm being told no.
What was the
Okay.
date? Just give me the date.
the morning after, the budget hearing and you guys met after that? As a
February.
school board?
Nope.
School board had the entire school board or just facilities?
No, the entire school board met after our budget hearing last month. Correct?
We've met a
You guys
couple,
come in, you guys come in and had a meeting or something,
we've met a couple times
Yep.
since, yeah.
okay? Did you guys
They were
have a
posted.
facilities meeting the day after that?
No.
I've never met on a Thursday.
Okay, I just,
No, I'm looking now, and that's a Thursday. If it was a Wednesday or a Tuesday, I would have.
Well, we haven't met in a while.
We haven't met in a long time because of other instances that have been coming up. It's kind of stretched us thin for the last almost 2 months, I think.
okay, no, thank you.
Is that it?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Is it snowing out there, Pat, yet?
Flurries.
Okay.
Your cars might have snow on the windshield, but there's nothing on the ground yet.
Saying put your wipers up.
Yeah. I put my wipers up in advance.
Except, snowmen knocked over or whatever those sculptures were out there, that I only saw going by at about 60.
Seeing nothing else, I'll pull the board for non-public. It is RSA 91-A:3, matters that may adversely affect the reputations of those other than board members. John?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Carol.